Hey guys, it is 101R Smith, and we are back with Gunpla. Today, we are taking a look at the High Grade Gundam Aerial for the most recent and ongoing series, Gundam the Witch from Mercury. Yes, first off, yes, I apologize for being late on this kit. It's already beginning of May. We already had the mid-season upgrade, Season 2 is airing, and the full Mechanics 1100 is well on its way to being out in Japan, which means probably another month and a half wait in America. Apologize for that, it's just the Gunpla landscape in America is very difficult right now. You gotta wait at least 2 months just to get a brand new kit. So, all of us waiting for that Master Grade Verka of Zeta, we got a little bit longer to wait. But here we are with Aerial. Just to preference this, I have already seen Season 1. Me and my best friend Enos, we watched it together. We really loved all of the character work and all of the art designs. Again, it's kind of like a motif where it's like, there's still traditional Gundam here, but there's a lot new going for it. As much as I did love IDO, it did have a little bit of a dark and grim ending, which did leave some bad taste in some people's mouths, but hey, that's okay, it happens sometimes. But, you know, I find it funny that I remember all the promo work for Witch of Mercury, and everyone thinking that Soletta was going to be like this dark, mysterious, like, bringer of death child character, and she ended up being this adorable, awkward kid, and I love it. I'm living for it right now. As far as the Aerial, I was really excited when we first saw it. In my mind, it was like if Exia and Barbatos had a baby and it ended up being a girl, where there's a lot of the sleeker designs of both Barbatos and Exia that I like with a more feminine touch. And I really love the construct of the design. I will say, before, I have not built the rebuild yet, but I will admit, I find that the original Aerial is more unique. Whereas the rebuild is pretty much, oh, let's add some GP01 and some Gundam XX here. It's kind of, the uniqueness is a little bit lost in translation. Rebuild, hey, there might be one more upgrade before we know, but we don't know that yet. You know, I saw the first season, there was a lot of potential, there's some darkness, some seediness, and a lot of commentary on corporate America. And I'm pretty excited for Season 2. I haven't watched anything yet, so no spoilers in the comments, please. And the model kits are looking pretty interesting right now. So I'm gonna go through my beginning of Witch of Mercury adventure. And why don't we see what we have here with the High Grade Aerial. All built up, and here we have Gundam Aerial. And I gotta say, it was interesting. I was thinking this was going to be a new revolutionary build like the HG Barbatos was back in 2015. I would say it's more evolutionary than revolutionary. There's nothing new here, but it is continuing the evolution of Gunpla that we've seen, especially since those IBO kits. While Aerial does not have a full inner frame, all the pieces are filled out together. There's really not much sticker use here that you actually have to use. The only sticker that is absolutely necessary is on the escutcheon shield, which we'll get to a little bit later. But outside of box, just built up in panel line, this thing is immaculate with its color choices. It kind of has like the softer blue that we've seen on like the Impulse Gundam and Destiny Gundam. And I love the mechanical design. It's very fleshed out, very drawn out. I love the proportions of it. And overall, it's kind of continuing that trend we've seen since at least the Build Fighters HG kits, where almost full inner frame, color separation is pretty good, and rock steady and solid. I'm very happy with the overall presentation, and Aerial looks amazing. Now, while she looks good, let's take a look at its articulation. Just like we always do, we start with the head. The head is on a double ball joint, so it can go out to 360-degree spin. Gotta be careful though, it does get a little loose when you want to move side to side. The shoulders are double jointed because it has an interior piece in the shoulder as well as the shoulder joint itself. Once you move it out of the way, you can go 360 degrees with it. And the shoulder hinges on itself. You're gonna get the swiveling arm with a double jointed elbow. The hands are just all roll jointed, so just it. Waist, you're gonna get a little bit of side to side and front to back. A little bit more front to back than side to side. Front skirts are together and separate them as always. Side skirts kind of just hinge out of the way. Leg articulation, oh my god. This is going a little bit more than just parallel with each other. I think this is one of the widest Gunpla splits I've seen in a long time. To get a very beautiful double jointed knee. Toe articulation is great. Mostly up to down, up and down. Don't be too crazy with it because you're going to make it pop out, but side to side is really on the toe joint itself, and even the heel can go side to side. Overall, I would say it has the same articulation level as HG Barbatos, but without all of the flaws of everything getting loose over time. I got a feeling this is going to be rock solid so long as you don't go too crazy with it. Moving on to the accessories, and this thing is actually surprisingly pretty light. You're going to get the standard beam rifle. Nothing too special. Two pieces slapped together, the sticker for the scope. You're gonna hold it, take the hand out, you're gonna plug it into each other, and there you go, right there. Nothing too special. It is lightweight, and you can put it in holding where you can connect it to the back of the backpack. Nice color, but there's some missing detail. Nothing too fancy. Beam saber. You're gonna get kind of like the 00 style beam saber effect parts, but in blue. You're gonna get a nice kind of radiant blue, and the posability of Aerial is really gonna come through, especially if you really want to get like really crazy Yaku Shiki style. And nothing much to say about the beam effects other than they look cool and they work. And well, plug it into the hand, you don't have to take the armor out of the arms, and boom, there you go. The main event here for the accessories of the Aerial is the Escratch Shield. This thing is multifunctional, mostly molded in the same colors. I am a little disappointed you had to add those two kind of veil pieces on the bottom and the front, but they're made in a different material where I don't think they're gonna flake off that easily. I can see them standing the test of time for a while. So yes, it operates as your standard, Gundam shield. And we have Aerial up here on my action base trying to do its best Strike Gundam impression, and she's pulling it off very well. But the cool thing about the Extraction Shield is the gun bit kind of format that it has. So the cool thing about Aerial is it has kind of like funnel functionality, so where you can take parts of the shield apart to act like bit funnels, kind of like you saw in like mid to late UC, or a little bit of 00 if you remember Lock-On Stratus and the Sheridan Gundam. You can use it for beam effects, you can use it to power up Aerial a little bit, and it gets also extra motor functions and also extra boost in flight as well. And it's used for a different arrangement of different tactical attacks, like you use it as the gun bit forms where you can have it all tacked out and blasting everywhere. You will need those extra Witch From Mercury action display sets in order to pull that off proficiently. But outside of that, the shield's really the main event of the kit because it has the multi-format use of gun bits and also the configurations on Aerial. That is the show stealer. Outside of that, this is your typical Gundam weapons loadout. Not necessarily a bad thing, but you also gotta keep that in mind that this is exactly what's set up in the show. My final thoughts on Aerial. I am going to give this an S ranking. This is an amazing kit. Again, like I said, this is more evolutionary than revolutionary. You're not going to see anything totally brand new with the kit. I know the real highlight was the fact that the clear pieces for the permit functionality came molded in. That was like the big wow factor. I chose not to put that on to my kit because the 1/100 full mechanics is going to be able to do that on its own with its own clear pieces. So I decided that I'm going to allow the 1/100 full mechanics to be in the permanent form while Aerial is in neutral. This is a really great kit. I do have only 2 hangups with it. First off, expression hands. What are those? Yeah, they're absent here, and I really feel like they would have come in handy a lot more in order to get more posability and playability out of the HG Aerial Gundam. I really thought after Build Fighters that expression hands were the norm here, especially with high grade kits, but it seems like we're kind of moving backwards a little bit. All we get are the stock holding hands, and that's a little bit disappointing. My other small little grip is the permanent effect pieces on the chest. You need to be a little careful. At least on mine, it kept popping out every time I was trying to do a bit more of an expressive display of posability here, and I kept trying to lock it in. It's kind of like teeth in together with these little slits on the side of the clear pieces, but whenever I was trying to do a more exaggerated pose, it was kind of popping out, and it was getting a little frustrating after a while. Those are my only 2 kind of gripes with him. It doesn't get a triple S, but it does get an S ranking. This is a phenomenal kit. This is definitely continuing the trend, because we're at a point where high grades are actually going into competition with early 2000 master grades, and that's a fine point in Gunpla history that I never thought we would see in a high grade kill. But with that in mind, this is a great kit. This should be more available now in America than it was when I first got it. I don't see the rebuild being available right now readily unless you want to pay like super hefty or go to Hobby Link Japan. So you're going to be waiting a little bit longer for that. But if you want the standard old Aerial, go for it. This is under 20 bucks, and this is a really great kit. I think everyone who's even a remote fan of the Witch From Mercury have at least one Gundam Aerial, whether it's the high grade or the full mechanics. But with that in mind, this is 101R Smith, and I will see you later. Peace.